And welcome to episode 1 of Ramsey Dewey's cheap Chinese rip-offs of other people's YouTube videos.
I'm not sure if that's appropriate for 2021.
Probably not, but thank you for bringing that to our attention, Xiao. The video we're going to rip off today comes from Sensei Seth, and it's not even one of his more popular videos, so hopefully this will bring some more attention to our friend Seth. It was titled something along the lines of, "What if martial arts YouTubers were superheroes?" And I watched that one and I thought, you know what? I would have chosen different superheroes for most of those guys. A couple of them made sense, like McDojo Life. They chose the Punisher because he's out there punishing bad martial arts frauds. But then there were others I was like, nah, there's a better pick. So, let's start out with none other than Shane Fazen. Xiao, who did you choose for Shane Fazen?
I think he's somewhat similar to Monkey King because Monkey King was a rebel in his youth and later got sent by the gods to escort this Buddhist monk on a journey to the West so he can finally put his superpowers to do some good. And Shane Fazen lived a rough life as a kid. He was in street fights.
Yeah, that's right.
And later on as an adult, he used his martial arts expertise to teach people to not bully and finally do some good.
That's right. That's interesting. You chose a Chinese superhero here, the Monkey King. How do you say his name in Chinese again?
Sun Wukong.
Sun Wukong. Yeah, and Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, he's like huge in China. He's not just a folkloric character of ancient origin, but man, they have put the Monkey King in movies and comic books and in all kinds of media in the modern world. So he's kind of a big deal in China.
Yeah, he's in a way the main superhero in Chinese folklore. Just like how Shane Fazen is the main legit martial arts YouTuber.
Yeah, that's a great point. Out of like the 5 most subscribed YouTubers, 5 most subscribed people on, I can't even talk today. Out of the 5 most subscribed martial arts YouTubers, as far as I'm aware, only one of them has been in a fight before, and that's Shane Fazen. So there we go.
Certainly not Master Wong.
Certainly not. Speaking of Master Wong, the one I chose for Master Wong was Mr. Furious from the Flaming Carrot comics. Mr. Furious also appears in the Mystery Men movie, which is based on the Flaming Carrot comics. A lot of people think that the Mystery Men is a parody of other superheroes, but it's not. It's actually based on a real comic book, and Mr. Furious is a real comic book character. Now his power, if you will, he has all of the rage of the Hulk. But his anger doesn't actually make him stronger. All right, next we have Sensei Seth. I chose Superman. Seth like Superman. He's a pretty big guy with an impressive power set. He can do all these cool kicks and stuff. He can do these precision striking things with water bottles and neat things like that. And Superman also has a glaring weakness to kryptonite. I'm not going to say what Seth's glaring weakness is. He knows. He knows. Jesse Enkamp, the karate nerd. This one was tough. We actually deliberated over this for a while before we made this video.
Yeah, he sees karate and everything.
Yes. He sees karate in literally everything. Like Jesse can see like a Jack Dempsey boxing clip from the 1920s and be like, oh, it's karate. He can see like, like stick fighting and be like, it's also karate. He can see like modern MMA and be like, karate, it's everywhere, it's all karate. So it's like he sees other people's powers and absorbs them and makes them his own. And what superhero does that?
Well, it reminds me of Kakashi in Naruto, but it's different because Kakashi copies other people's skill set and uses it for himself. But Jesse Enkamp attributes his own skill set to other people's skill
Oh yeah,
set.
it's like
So
that,
it's
like he
kind
gives
of
other
the
people
opposite.
powers.
Yeah.
I was thinking at first like Rogue from the X-Men because she touches people and absorbs their powers and then she can use them. Like later in the comics, Rogue got the power of flight by absorbing the power of flight from touching Captain Marvel.
That's
for
a lot
example.
like Kakashi.
Yeah.
But then,
yeah, you're right, Jesse, he like sees karate in other people, and so he's like, I give you my karate, I give you my karate. So, man, we got this backwards. Is there a superhero who like gives powers to others? Huh. That's a tough one. We're gonna have to come back to that. Sorry, Jesse.
Another time.
All right, Kwonkicker. Kwonkicker. If you're not familiar with Kwonkicker, Michael Brock, he's an awesome guy, really cool channel. One of the OG YouTubers. Back in the day, super popular. A lot of people don't know about him now because he hasn't produced a lot of content. Mike went through a rough patch. He has a crippling case of tinnitus. It's like a crippling ringing in the ears and so on that just never ever goes away. So yeah, my heart goes out to him in that respect. The superhero I chose for him was Starman. And Starman, back in the day, had a pretty good run in comics. He was a pretty popular comic book character. And then he lost all of his powers. But then he made this really cool comeback. This really cool comeback where he got his powers back, and the Earth was being threatened, and the sun was going to blow up, and all the other superheroes couldn't do a thing about it. Not even Superman could save the day. And then Starman, he's like, I got this. It's a star. I'm Starman, and he goes out there and sacrifices himself to save the world. Rokas from Martial Arts Journey. Any ideas? The Aikido guy turned MMA fighter.
Living a lie and finally seeing the truth.
And you know who that's like? Alan Moore's version of Swamp Thing. Now, in the original version of Swamp Thing, there's a scientist named Dr. Alec Holland, and he experiments with plants. And his lab is blown up. In the explosion, Alec Holland is hurled into the swamp with the chemicals from his lab that supposedly mutates him into this swamp creature that has all these powers. Now, many years later, Alan Moore wrote this really cool story where Swamp Thing comes to the realization that he never was... Spoiler alert, if you haven't read the comics, because it's awesome. It's really awesome, it blew my mind. Okay, spoiler alert done, I'm going to tell you. Swamp Thing learns that he never was Alec Holland to begin with. Alec Holland died in the explosion. And instead, the chemicals mutated the swamp sludge into Swamp Thing. And Swamp Thing simply believed that he was Alec Holland. He believed he was the guy who died. So this whole time he's this mutated swamp sludge who goes out there and has this revelation, holy crap, my whole life is a lie. I am not who I thought I was. My whole skill set is not what I thought it was. The universe is totally different. And then from that point on, he's a changed swamp creature. In much the same way that Rokas, he lives his life as the Aikidoka, and everything's going swimmingly until he has this experience with mixed martial arts and Jiu-Jitsu, and he's like, whoa, martial arts it's a whole different rabbit hole I didn't even knew existed.
That comic book arc sounds like Inception and Shutter Island, the movies.
Yeah, as far as like how it blows your mind, like, whoa, this is not what I thought it was in the first place.
Yeah.
I love Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing. Love it. Sorry for the spoilers, but I warned you. Jake Mace. So Jake Mace, super popular, especially back in the day. He's got well over 1 million subscribers. Kung Fu guy, and currently in the current YouTube environment, a lot of people just absolutely hate on him. Like, oh, Jake Mace, he's the worst, whatever. I'm pretty impartial. I made a parody of Jake Mace, a Matrix parody. We had fun with it. We poked sticks, nothing personal against Jake Mace. But a lot of people don't like him. And they say, oh, his Kung Fu isn't legit, whatever. I don't know, I don't care. But which comic book character did we compare him to?
Danny Rand.
Netflix Danny Rand.
Iron Fist.
Netflix Iron Fist. Okay, I love the character of Iron Fist. Like, I love the comics. I love the stories. And I was super excited that they made a Netflix series. I was like, man, I hope they realize the version of Iron Fist in my head, and then they totally didn't. And it was like, huh. And I ended up liking the side characters more than the main character.
Expectation leads to disappointment.
Yes, expectation leads to disappointment, exactly. And so, the people of the internet just really, really hated Netflix Danny Rand in much the same way that the people of the internet tend not to be huge fans of Jake Mace. So,
Jake Mace would have probably done a better job, at
Yeah.
least in choreography, as Danny Rand.
yes, this is one of the great twists of irony about us comparing Jake Mace to Danny Rand, because his fight choreography skills are actually really good. So if they had cast Jake Mace in this role, at least as like a stunt double or something, the fight scenes would have been amazing. And here's another problem. In the comics, Iron Fist wears a mask, okay? In the Netflix Daredevil series, he wore a mask. And so they could seamlessly put the stunt guy in there to do all the hard stuff. And so the fight scenes looked really cool. So why on earth did they not put a mask on Iron Fist like they have in the comics so they can put a stuntman in there so they can have cool fight scenes? I don't know.
It's beyond us.
It is beyond us. Executive decisions that they make are just weird. So, man, Jake Mace would have made a better Danny Rand and a great twist of irony than the character they had in there. Chewjitsu. I chose Professor X. And maybe it's because Sensei Seth chose Professor X for me. Probably because I'm bald and Professor X is bald. But I chose Professor X for
So
Chewie.
lazy.
Yes, I know, it's lazy. I chose Professor X for Chewie because he's, if I'm not mistaken, a third-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, meaning his official title in Jiu-Jitsu is actually Professor. And he has a team of black belts that he has trained at his school. He runs a school for gifted martial artists in much the same way that Professor X, who is also a professor, runs a school for gifted mutants. And, you know, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is about as close to superhuman as you're gonna get.
Wait, is Professor X the leader of the Ninja Turtles?
No, that's Splinter.
Okay.
Splinter the Rat is the leader of the Ninja Turtles. Oh, man. Maybe. We totally forgot. Okay, the Ninja Turtles. Which YouTube martial artist is Splinter? Which one is Donatello? Which one is Raphael? We'll see. That's a good question. Maybe I'm Splinter. Maybe you're Splinter. I don't know.
Why?
Next, Sensei Ando. Sensei Ando. I don't know what Icy Mike has against Sensei Ando.
Sensei Ando.
Ugh. I don't know, like Matter Eater Lad or Arm Fall Off Boy or something like that.
Arm fall off.
Yeah, I don't know. I just did a search for piece of shit superheroes that nobody has ever heard of, and I just...
Icy Mike for Sensei Ando chose Arm Falling Off Boy, which is a real superhero, a lesser known one, kind of a ridiculous one, whose superpowers is his arm falls off. And honestly, I think that's a better choice for Icy Mike himself. Do you remember that time Icy Mike made a video where he's like, oh, he came with a cast on, he's like, I messed up my arm, I like tore my bicep throwing a punch. I was like, that's Arm Falling Off Boy right there. Your superpower is your arms fall off. So
Well, why is the arm falling off a superpower?
I don't know. I choose a different one for Icy Mike, but if you're pointing fingers at Sensei Ando calling him Arm Falling Off Boy, your arm literally fell off, Icy Mike, so the mirror is hard to look into, is it not? But for Sensei Ando, I chose Plastic Man. Now, Xiao didn't know who Plastic Man was, and he's a stretchy guy. He's got the same powers as, say, Elastigirl from The Incredibles and Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. He's really stretchy and all that. But I chose Plastic Man because in his original inception in the comics, he's a very cheery, very happy-go-lucky, smiles, just all positivity type of character. He's kind of a funny character. And if you watch Sensei Ando's videos, they're very positive. But there's more to it then. There's more to Sensei Ando than just that. He's actually a pretty deep guy. If you talk to him, if you get to know the guy in person, he's really deep. Similarly, Plastic Man, when they rebooted him, they made kind of a gritty reboot of Plastic Man, where he's not just all fun and games and smiles, but there's depth to this character. And you're like, whoa, that's why he is the way he is. Like, that's why he puts on the big smile. This character is deep and interesting and profound in lots of cool ways. So Plastic Man for Sensei Ando. Icy Mike. So the one I chose for Icy Mike was Guy Gardner from the Green Lantern Corps. And they have a lot in common. Guy Gardner was an ex-police officer who got a ring of power, and he's way different than most of the other Green Lanterns. See, the original Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and most of the other Green Lanterns, they were chosen because they have like a pure heart and a certain nobility, and so they're gifted this power ring that has all these cosmic powers to basically police their quadrant of the universe, right? But Guy Gardner is different. He's an ex-cop. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He gets this power ring. He joins the Justice League, and then he makes fun of all the other superheroes. Who does that on YouTube?
I wonder.
Who makes fun of all the other martial arts YouTubers on YouTube? So former cop makes fun of the other guys, surrounded by his protective ring of power.
Didn't Icy Mike compare you to a douchey superhero?
Yeah. At first he was starting to compare me to Batman. I was like, wow, that's like the nicest thing Icy Mike has ever said to me. And then he's like, but then I decided he's more like Namor, because Namor is like, he lives in his own little world and he's kind of a douchebag.
That's rich coming from him.
Thanks, Icy Mike. Now, you haven't seen Matt from Reality Check Self-Defense, right?
No, I have not.
Okay, but you have seen my YouTube series, MMA Fighters Try Women's Self-Defense.
Yeah, they are great.
Yeah. Did you ever appear in one of those?
Yes, I was backfisting your stomach.
Oh yes, you were in one of them. Exactly. So Matt makes videos like that. He makes a lot of great videos like that. And they are hilarious. And he puts himself on the line. He does like live sparring. And he cracks wise and tells jokes while the sparring is going on. And you know who else does that in the comics? Not the movie version, but the comic version. Spider-Man. Okay? They toned down the humor a lot for the Spider-Man movies. I don't know why. Spider-Man is one of the most hilarious comic book characters ever. Because he's always telling jokes during the fight scenes. And he's always like making fun of the villains while they're trying to be like, I will destroy you, Spider-Man. And he's like, I'm not going to take you seriously. So, yeah, Matt from Reality Check Self-Defense, very funny guy, just like Spider-Man is a funny guy in the comics. Okay, the Fight Bible with Brad and Joe. Who did you choose?
Kato and who's the other guy? The Green Hornet.
The Green Hornet and Kato, yeah. Okay, which one is the Green Hornet? Which one's Kato?
We decided to make the UFC fighter Kato because he's the muscle of the operation, while the other guy is the brain.
Yes, we got Brad. He's the UFC fighter. He's the muscle, the talent, the martial arts talent behind the operation. And then Joe, he's like makes the executive decisions about the videos and the edits and all that. So Green Hornet, Kato seemed to work for me. And then we had a couple more. Oh, let's go with Samery Moras. Let's get a female martial arts YouTuber in here. Samery Moras. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
I know Samery Moras in person. I actually know her. We trained together in Taekwondo. When I was doing Taekwondo before I did MMA or any of this stuff, I trained Taekwondo with at a few different studios, including Samery's sister's studio. So I knew Samery when she was a little kid, actually. And when I left the U.S., I think she was still a red belt. And yeah, she's a badass black belt Taekwondo practitioner now. She's got a great channel about Taekwondo. She's got some excellent videos about flexibility, how to get flexible for the high kicks. This is one of the most common questions I'm asked. How do I get flexible for high kicks? Go check out Samery's channel. She's got like 3 or 4 videos on the subject and they're excellent. But as far as superheroes go, the one I picked for her was Kitty Pryde from the X-Men. And here's why. Because Kitty Pryde's power is becoming intangible so she can phase through solid objects. Have you heard of Samery Moras? Some of you have, a lot of you haven't, because she kind of phased through your awareness that she even existed. So go check her out. Don't let her slip through the cracks like Kitty Pryde can.
That's harsh.
Now, it may sound harsh, but I'm bringing this up because I want you to check out her channel. I love her content. I love Samery and her family. They're great people. Go support her channel. All right, next, another female YouTuber, Cris Cyborg. Yes, professional fighter, fought in the UFC, fought in Invicta, fought in a bunch of professional fighting shows, but she also has an excellent YouTube channel. And the character I chose was Wonder Woman. Not movie Wonder Woman, comic book Wonder Woman. And here's the problem with movie Wonder Woman. They try to make her all like hippy-dippy, let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. That's not Wonder Woman in the comics. Wonder Woman is a killer, a stone-cold killer from the Amazon. Who else is from the Amazon? Actual Amazon in Brazil, as opposed to the mythical Amazon of Greek legend. Cris Cyborg from Brazil. We have this Brazilian Amazon woman who is just an absolute stone-cold killer, unapologetic about delivering violence in the cage and very good at it, which is exactly what Wonder Woman is in the comics.
Just a very OP female superhero.
Yeah, and very unapologetic about it.
Indeed.
Okay, and last but not least on this list, we have Red Chucks. A lot of you don't know who Red Chucks is. Go check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description below. This dude probably has the strongest skeleton out of anybody on this list. He is a multiple-time world concrete breaking champion. He competes in martial arts breaking competitions. He breaks stacks of concrete, not like fake concrete, but like real construction-grade concrete slabs. He bends hammers over his shins. He can bend rebar with his hands. Just incredible feats of strength and bone density, man. And he's got some videos on how to increase your bone density, which are worth listening to. So go check out Red Chucks. And the superhero I chose for him was Wolverine. Now Wolverine in the comics is very short, and Red Chucks is a really tall dude. So it's not because of the height, it's because of the bone density. Now in the comics, Wolverine has a metal-lined skeleton. It's lined with adamantium, the hardest metal known in the Marvel Universe. So he's got this unbreakable skeleton.
Isn't it vibranium?
You know, they might have made a comic version where it was replaced with vibranium, I don't know, but throughout most of the series it was adamantium. So here's the difference. Adamantium is like this unbreakable metal, and vibranium is a metal that can absorb vibrations, it absorbs kinetic energy from other things. So for example, Captain America's shield is made of vibranium, so it can withstand tremendous blows. So like the Hulk can hit Captain America's shield and it won't break because it just absorbs all the kinetic energy from it. Or that scene in the Avengers where Thor brings his hammer down, his super-powered hammer made out of the core of a neutron star or something like that, and it doesn't even dent the shield because it just absorbs all the power from it. So, yeah, if Wolverine had a vibranium skeleton, he would probably be, I don't know, would he be overpowered, or would that just cause like a crazy chain reaction when he tries to fight? I don't know.
I just like vibranium as a meme.
Yeah. Speaking of vibranium, can you think of any martial arts YouTubers that would be the Black Panther, the vibranium-powered superhero?
No, I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
What's he like?
If you know, let us know down in the comments.
Michael Jai White, maybe.
Michael Jai White? Is it because he's black? we're just matching people up based on physical character. I'm Professor X.
That's so lazy.
I'm bald. We're starting out talking about like the title of this video is culturally insensitive, Ramsey. Anyway, maybe who would Michael Jai White be? He actually did play a superhero. He played Spawn. Yeah,
yes,
he was the original Spawn. Yeah, the original
boy.
African American superhero. This has been another edition of. This has been the first edition of Ramsey Dewey's cheap Chinese knockoffs of other people's YouTube videos. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train. Hey fella, looks like you could use a rash guard. What for, you say? Well, they protect your skin against matte-borne illnesses, matte burn, and they make you look incredibly cool. But where do I get a rash guard from? Hey, have you heard of Xmartial.com? Yeah? Then what are you waiting for? Check them out right now. Xmartial.com has all kinds of rash guards, from sleek and simple, novelty, badass designs, and more. Channel your inner Japanese cartoon rat monster. Express your love for bad puns and kitty cats doing iconic jujitsu moves. Hey, that panda's gonna hit the other panda with a folding chair like a pro wrestler. And this one makes your right arm stand out. Xmartial.com, serving your needs beyond just no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, find brand new equipment for mixed martial arts, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, and more at Xmartial.com. As always, use my code Ramsey10 for 10% off everything on the website. Once again, that's Xmartial.com. Rash guards, spats, shorts, and more. Links and discount codes in the description below.